Hello, I have another simple little kit here. This one is kind of out of the ordinary. It's a paperweight and it's super simple. You would be totally surprised at how fast it is, and just maybe you'd be surprised at what it's made out of. This was something I was challenged with. It's a piece of tubing, square tubing. It may have a proper name, and I'm sure if my husband was handy, he would tell me what it was, but he's not here right now, so this is a piece of metal. It's heavier than aluminum, but I'm not really sure what it is. I guess we could test it a little bit and see if it sticks to a magnet. It does. You can't tell, but I can feel it. So we know it's not aluminum. So anyway, back to my little part. Boy, it kind of creates a little bit of a glare, so let's get this out of the way a little bit. So this is just covered with painty papers. In the kit, you will get the little blank piece of tubing and a piece of cardstock. This is a really heavy cardstock. I don't know why. I bought it because it was beautiful in color. It was one of the prettiest grays I've ever seen, and it's too thick. It won't even go in my printer, so I've been using it for other things, but it's pretty heavy. So I can't tell you exactly what papers are coming in your kit. There'll just be some painting papers. And this is pretty simple. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at just how easy and fun this is. You need a piece of masking tape. That is not in the kit, but Scotch tape, washi tape, whatever you want to use. And these little squares, these little ends, are 3/4 inch. The opening on this is 3/4 inch. This is 5.5 inches long. Now these are all been cut, so you might want to remeasure to make sure. So anyway, I've cut my little squares to 3/4 inch, and I'm covering this. I could just use the tape, and that would be fine. Let me zoom out a little bit. You could just cut them or put the tape on there, and that would be good, but I don't know. Sometimes when I mess with things, I get a little rough, and I didn't want to poke holes in them. So I used some masking tape. And I just went both directions. That just made it nice and strong, and I closed up both ends. I'm not going to close this end right now because I'm actually going to take this one apart to put it in the kit, but I just want to have this to show you. So I'm going to take my glue stick. Y'all know how much I like my glue sticks. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper. It's not really scrap paper, but it is going to be now. And I have these cut in longer strips already. I have them at 3/4, but in all honesty, you're going to want to cut them just a little bit off of that. Now, I'm going to try because it's very possible my blade is about dull, and cutting that much off is kind of difficult. Oh, it worked. And there's no place to go get me a blade at this point. So, now if you want to do this and just glue the whole piece down, you can do that. And grab your scissors and say you want to cut it here. Say you have there's 3 of these off the same painting paper. Of course, they're all different in different spots that you look at them. Sorry, testing the lights. I think it must be my eyes that I always see this as coloring is wrong. I don't know why. So anyway, I've got this. I'm going to be very generous with the glue. Get back up on my mat here. And then I am going, and I'm not really worrying about whatever glue goes over anywhere else. I'm just going to put it down here and put it down. Now, when you get ready to burnish this one, you either need to use bigger pieces, like, not tiny little bitty pieces, but decent size, so that you can hold it in place and burnish, because you got slicky on slicky. Now, if you wanted to take a piece of sandpaper, an emery board, a sanding block of some sort, and, sand it up and make it a little rough, you can. But I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference. So on this one, I know that I need it that long. And I am going to try to cut this one by hand, just because my paper cutter's kind of, I don't know. There's probably a blade here somewhere, but I've done so much cleaning, organizing, rearranging, and finding of things, I just don't want to look right now. So now I would have put the end on the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and, you can press it down like that. You just want to burnish it. See, it even slid. I don't know if you can tell that, but it slides. But I've been handling the heck out of this one, and it has just really held together well. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish, because that's what you have to do when it comes to using a stick of glue. I know people don't think so, but it will be okay. So this one's, again, I'm just going to go ahead and put this whole thing on here, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to give it a slight haircut. You can tell that my pages are cut really cruddy. So this little haircut does a world of good here. So we're just going to put the glue on this one. Again, I'm going to be pretty generous. That's why I like the purple, because I can see where it's going and I know how much I'm putting on there. And I will just glue this on. Well, if I'd have asked for a better fit, I'd have never gotten it. Never. It's just like perfect. So burnish, burnish, burnish. So you've got it down. I would advise you to let it dry a little bit, and then you can cut you a little square end out of something that's left over that you really like. And I say square, again, you might want to measure and make sure. And you can put that on top of that, push it down. What I do, I don't know if you can tell that that's kind of bent over a little bit. I will just leave that, because if you just give it some time, it's going to stay. And if it don't, you can always take an emery board to it. So we have that. And now I'm going to take, I usually use this really cool paint marker that I have, but I am going to go with a Sharpie. Yep, found them while cleaning. So I'm going with the Sharpie that's a chisel tip. And I like the chisel tip to do this. And I'm going to just outline this on the edges, trying to get a little bit on the paper and a little bit on the metal that barely shows through. So you get your outline. And if you don't have enough, you can always come back and, put a little more on the top to make, I like my outlines. Whoops. So that one slipped up, but that's okay, because we don't really ever make mistakes. We make things that we make learning experiences. That's my new words. We don't make mistakes. We make learning experiences. So, okay, so this one is just the piece right there, and this is the whole one. But you know, there's some differences here. So if I wanted to say, take this right here and draw a line, so it's like it's two different things. And then I'm going to outline this one here. And to kind of make this a little more, I'm just going to add a few extra lines, a little extra doodling. Now the paper that comes in your kit will either be regular painting paper or it will be a copy of my painting papers. I'm not sure how much I have left, so they may be copies. So after you've done a few of those, you can also take your paint markers, your other Sharpies, any mark making tool, because you're marking on paper, and change this up to kind of give it a little distinction, like it's two pieces. And you know, I'm really big on the fluorescent pink lately. I don't know why. I've watched a lot of people do art with fluorescent and I thought, oh no, and now I use it all the time. So I'm just adding some marks, and I'm just going to use this pen for the time being because I am going to take this off of here, so it's part of a kit. And there you go. You just do that to all four sides and the ends, and you can do your outline on your ends just like you did on the long sides. Add extra marks. You can use whatever paper you want. This would be really cool done in dictionary pages. And as I was sitting here looking at this one prior to getting the video started, I thought, would these not be really, really, really cute with a quote on them? You could do a different quote on each side. Use it as a paperweight, just a pretty sitting around somewhere. And your quote that you feel most like that day is the one that shows. Now, granted, you're going to see the other two, or somebody will see them. You won't see them all at the same time. That's kind of not possible, but you will be able to see probably two of them at a time. So, you know, kind of keep in mind what you put on there. My first thought was broken cookies don't have calories. And I thought that would be really fun. But there's a whole lot of them, you know. Of course, I think I'd go sassy, you know, just because I can. But, you know, that's just another thing you can do with them. You definitely are not going to want to hammer on them on your glass mat, and you're not going to want to throw them at somebody on purpose. And, you know, it's just a simple little paperweight. It is nothing fancy. It's a piece of metal with paper on it, but it's just a little spot of color and creativity in your everyday life. So I hope that whoever gets these kits, because I think I have like, somewhere around 20 of them for the hardest. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with these. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.